What's going on, yo? Pretty much right now, I'm just sitting here. Didn't really have anything I wanted to talk about specifically. But I wanted to make a video. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be making a video. And what we're going to be doing in the video, we're not really sure yet, But I might maybe go get something to eat, I do really like I don't know what it is, man. But when I eat leftovers, man, I feel like it's always better when I put a bunch of Doritos on it. I could always get me like if I make hamburger helper. And I'm always thinking back to that's something like a meal that I've always been able to, provide. Granted, maybe sometimes nobody want to cook. And, I was like a young boy back when I lived at home, And maybe not everybody want to cook, but I'll have like a tube of some meat, up in the freezer. And I'll maybe take it out and put it under some cold water. I'll put it under some cold water, let it thaw out. After a little while, you get that meat. Maybe you're like my mom. Maybe you, instead of putting it under the cold water, you just chuck that little fucker in the microwave. Maybe you leave that little metal seal on it and everything. You just throw that little meat tube, that rock hard frozen meat tube, you throw that in the microwave and you throw it in there for 5 minutes. I feel like my mom always used to she would just microwave stuff just as long as she could. I feel like a lot of times maybe she'd cook the whole meat in the microwave. But I'd probably just put it under the water, I'll take that meat, we'll put it in you get an old skillet. It's got all kinds of little fork marks on the bottom of it, on the non-stick. You had that non-stick. My mom always had like an old non-stick pan. But I'll tell you what, you try to cook some chorizo and eggs in that motherfucker, everything's gonna be sticking. Got the non-stick, but I might have not had like a rubber spatula. I might have not known the significance of it at the time. But instead of using a rubber spatula, maybe a regular spatula. I didn't know this until like the 7th grade back in the junior high school. You go to like a cooking class. I was a big fan of the cooking class. You always had, you think back to taking that cooking class, and I think about, they had like laundry machines in there. They try to teach you how to live on your own. They teach you how to do your laundry. Maybe you were making some brownies that day. You were in that kitchen. You had that oven turned up to 375. You were gonna make some brownies. Maybe they had that bootleg KitchenAid Sears mixer in there. You try to mix all your brownie dough. You get a little of that brownie dust, a little like cacao. You get that shit right on your apron. They got a washing machine right there, man. Maybe you got something on your t-shirt, man. I don't know. But anyway, what the fuck? Where was I? But yeah, I used to love going to that cooking class, man. You go to the cooking class, and you always had like a fat lady that was like your teacher, and she was always telling you how to cook and stuff. Maybe she said don't eat that brownie batter because it's got raw eggs in it. She don't want a case of salmonella on her hands. I'd be the one that be hiding it, giving that spoon a little licky lick.
Yeah.
Front and back side, like that. Hiding under the cabinet.
Like that? Where? Huh?
Motherfuckers be like, yo, Brodie, what the fuck are you doing down there?
I'm just Look at the spoon.
Whatever, stupid. But I used to love that cooking class, man. You go to the cooking class, and not only would you be cooking, but you'd be learning some life lessons. She'd be teaching you how to use a knife. I think it's super important that people know how to use a knife. Working in restaurants all that time, and I've seen a lot of people, get in a lot of trouble with a knife. Maybe they might, maybe cut a little tip off that thumb, Maybe they took a little snip off that middle finger. Got a little bit of fingernail knocked out, Cracked that motherfucker right down the middle. I've seen some pretty bad knife injuries, man. I swear I've seen more people get hurt on like a dicer, man. You ain't seen shit until you seen somebody put their fingers on the grates of a dicer and run that fucking plastic, little boom handle right down. Man. Next day, you gotta go pee in a cup. Maybe you can't pee in the cup because maybe you've been out in Denver, you live in Galesburg, and you got legal marijuana. But even if it's legal, they'll still fire you. So maybe you ask your little brother. You're like, hey, yo, Skippy, why don't you go in there, and when you go pee in this little cup. We're gonna pull a little joke on Grandpa. We're gonna give him a little lemonade. So little Skippy goes in there, pees in a cup for you. You take that shit to the doctor. I'll tell you what, I had to take a piss test one time for a job, and they sent me to a chiropractic care center to do my urinary test. And, I just remember there's probably 100 feet away from the restaurant that I worked at. They had a hospital where everybody else took their pee test, and I had to drive 45 minutes on an old highway to a little town to go to a damn chiropractor to fucking pee in a little cup. I passed the piss test, man. It wasn't that bad. I just thought it was weird, man. I was like, you guys do the aquarium cups here? He said, they'll put they'll take like a little beta cup, man, like one of them little fish bowls, man, like one of the little ones, like fist size, like a C cup. They'll put like a little lighter in it, take all the oxygen out, and they'll stick it to your back. It's supposed to be comforting, man. I don't know. It kind of freaks me out. But yeah, man, I don't know. But man, tell you what, I took a couple of them home living classes. I took a couple of them in high school too. I had a buddy, man, and he said I went to his family's restaurant in school, and I remember his dad looked at me and he said, well, what do you want to learn how to make today? What do you want to know how to make? And, I thought about it for a minute. Because, sometimes that kind of question will hit you off guard, man. Like, what do you want to make? I'm thinking that shit to myself right now. I'm sitting here talking to myself, watching sound waves on Audacity, hearing the playback in my headphones, just talking to myself. Sometimes it's a little weird when you're talking to yourself and you can also hear like an amplified, real-time version of what you're saying. I don't know. It's a little weird. But anyway, he said, what do you want to learn how to make? I thought about it. I didn't probably have enough time to think about it because, if I would have spent more time thinking about that question, maybe I'd be, maybe I'd have my own restaurant. Maybe I would have had my own brand. But you know what I told him? I said, I want to make some barbecue sauce. I remember looking at Walt, man, and seeing his face light up, and he said barbecue sauce. We're gonna make some barbecue sauce. All right, let's make some barbecue sauce. We'll get started on it tomorrow. And I couldn't have been more pleased. He was gonna teach me how to make some barbecue sauce, man. I was gonna have my own sauce, at least my own sauce recipe. So the next day came around, and taking the bus out there, man. We used to have a crazy ass bus driver. I swear he would always be cussing under his breath. You'd hear him up there breathing, just every time, man. You'd hear him up there. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, this guy's got a problem. But yeah, that guy drive us out there though. He dropped me off out at the cafe. I go in there, and sure as shit, Walt's sitting there, and he says, "You know what, Brodie? Today we're gonna make a barbecue sauce for you." I go back into that kitchen, and he says, "Do you know how to cut an onion?" And I look at him and I say, honestly, I don't know how to cut an onion. I don't. And he said, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. So this is something that I'm going to teach you, and you're going to be able to use this for the rest of your life. So, I asked him, what do I do? And, he breaks out a little cutting board for me, and he shows me how you cut the onion. Cut it long way, and then you give it a dice. You get it a long way, you cut it the hamburger style, and then you cut it the hot dog style to top it off. Because, onion's got layers, so you cut that motherfucker like that, you're going to have a diced onion. So, he showed me how to cut the onion. And I'm going to be honest, though, at the time I didn't really get it because, he was baking bread and doing all that. And I just remember, I just couldn't cut the onion right. And he was asking me, you doing all right over there? And of course I told him, yeah, I'm doing all right. But fuck, man, I kept fucking up the onion, man. I had to cut up like probably 3 or 4 onions, and I kept fucking it up, man. I couldn't remember how he was holding the knife, and I tried cutting it like bottom down long ways, sideways, man. I kept fucking it up, and I just remember I was like chopping up the onion, and then Walt comes up to me and he says, "Let me show you again." And he takes the other half of the onion and he chops it up for me. And this time I felt like I tried to like slow down time. It was one of those moments, man, where I never really felt that way in school. You just take a minute. You really try to think about what the fuck you're doing. Because, it was one of those moments where you think, I don't want to have to ask again. Because this is one of those moments when I can learn. So I watched him, how he grabbed with his thumb and his 4 fingers on the other side. He grabbed that onion and he snipped it 5 or 6 times right down the long way. He left the root on there. Keep everything together. He took that onion, he swiveled it around and he held it by the fat ends. And he cut that motherfucker 5 or 6 times the other way. Perfectly diced onion. This time I remembered. So when he put it back, he went over to do his bread or whatever. I fucking remember how to dice that onion, boy. And that was a good moment for me, man. When I think about being in that little kitchen, man, I was only there for maybe a week. But I learned how to cut an onion, man. I never knew how to do that before. And I've always remembered that, every time I've had to cut an onion, I needed a diced onion. I'm making some guacamole. I think back to my man, in that kitchen. And, the day goes on, and we pour a couple of this, a little bit of that, a couple dashes of this, a little sprig of that. We got like the hot pot, rolling. With all kinds of tomato juices, smelling like barbecue sauce, baby. You know what it is. And after that motherfucker was done, it was the best feeling. You know, you try that sauce for the first time on a wooden spoon. Off a wooden spoon, bro. You take a little bite. The first barbecue sauce that you made with a fucking master. A fucking master in the kitchen. And it was great. It was really great. And I remember he told me we're going to put it on the menu. And I said, you're going to put it, you're going to put it on the menu? I couldn't believe that he was going to put my barbecue sauce on their menu. It's just crazy, man. I remember getting on Facebook later, and lo and behold, Brodie's Baked Beans. Right there on the menu. Today's special. Get you a little ham sandwich. Fresh baked bread, bruh. A little butter on it. And get you a side of Brodie's Baked Beans, man. It was on the menu. You know, that was one of the coolest moments I had, in the kitchen. And I just wanted to tell you all that story. Just try to get into the details of it. Sometimes when I'm just thinking to myself, I just try to think about everything, if I'm thinking about a time, I want to remember everything about it, So I just remember, man, Brodie's Baked Beans, right there on the menu. I went to a couple other places, too, to work. I had some good times in that class, honestly. It was really cool, man. We only had 8 people, and everybody was super different. But we all showed up, man, for cooking class. Man, I remember going to Happy Joe's, going to Pizza House. I got stories about all these places, man. Maybe I'll make another personal, audio monologue. I don't know if this is like a diary or like a vocal journal, or maybe it's a podcast, or I don't know. I don't really know if it's. I'm just kind of bored, man. I'm just trying to have a little self-reflection and think about a good moment, man. Sometimes you just need to sit down and think to yourself, man, about a good moment that you had, Sometimes you just need to think about, take yourself back and think to yourself, like, what a time. But anyway, I don't really got a lot else on my mind, man. I was thinking about that. I don't really know what I was talking about before this. But damn, dude, I need to stop drinking so many Diet Cokes and start drinking some more water, man. Maybe I should start hitting the gym. Don't sound too bad. A lot of the boys been going out to the gym, man. I know a couple the boys working out there at the gym too, man. It's pretty cool out there. I used to like going to Planet Fitness all the time. You feel good too after a long day, and you've been out at Planet Fitness, dude, and you're like, fuck, man, I need to take a little break. Maybe I need to eat a big dinner with lots of calories, man. I always go to Hy-Vee. I get the 5 for 20, man, for me and the old lady. Perfect date night meal, dude. You want to impress your woman. You want to have a good time. You want to really show her how much you love her. You go to Hy-Vee, man. You get you a 5 for 20, baby. They got the peppers, man. Stuffed peppers, boy. They got the twice baked potato, bro. That's basically just mashed potatoes in a shell. Got the little bacon bits on top. You chop them up real good with a fork and put them in your microwave for about 3 minutes, man. They come out perfect. I got these stuffed mushrooms, man. Right now it's been kind of bullshit because you go there and they got like 3 of them in the pack and they're fucking huge. I like it when you get the little ones, man. You put the whole thing in your mouth, one bite. Nom nom, motherfucker. I don't know, man. But yeah, man, you go out there, get a 5 for $20, man. You know the secret to a good steak? Secret to a good steak is a hot fucking pan. And when you get a thin steak like that, man, sometimes, 5 for $20, you gotta go through a bunch of bullshit steaks with a bunch of fat on them. Though you find a good one with not a lot of fat, really marbled. Sometimes it's hard to find that, but you get a couple of those ones, man. You pick them out, the white whales right out the bunch, baby. And you fucking cook them up, dude, on a hot pan. And then the secret is you let them rest. You gotta let them rest, dude. If you don't let them rest, they're not gonna hold their juices as good, man. You gotta keep the juices in the brats, boy. But, dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm not one of those people that's really crazy about grilling outside either. Because, dude, if you're the kind of person that like grilling outside, you probably like spending time with your neighbors, man. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like spending time with my neighbors. So, realistically, I don't like grilling outside. I do like mowing my yard, but the problem with grilling outside is that all the juices come out the fucking meat, dude. Maybe if you're cooking chicken, it's not too bad, but if you're cooking like a steak or something, man, you want to have a cast iron or something on that grill. But like I said, man, mostly it's just like I don't want to hang out with my neighbors, man. I'm not like, it's not like they're not good people. But, man, I'm just not the person that wants to, mingle with the neighbors, man. Howdy doody, neighbor. It's not me, bro. Every once in a while I'll go talk to them. So I don't look like the crazy guy next door that don't fucking say anything to anybody. I'll talk to them, man. They're all pretty cool. But I always feel like grilling outside's like having a big plate of nachos at the dinner table, man. Everybody thinks they can just, put their hand in. You got Daniel over there. Maybe you got Jeremy across the street. Jeremy's always got a big old freezer full of meat. And he's been thawing out a couple pork chops today. He says, "Hey there, Brodie, I got a couple pork chops over here, man. I've had them thawing out since 10 a.m., but I got to get them cooked off. You mind if I come over and throw them out there on the grill with you?" I'm just like, damn it, dude. Because what the fuck am I supposed to say? Like, no, man, Jeremy, maybe next time, dude, but of course, I'm always like,
Oh, well, hey, what's going on, Jeremy? Why don't you come on over and throw them on the grill? I got a couple grates open for you right here.
Just shit like that, man. You gotta fucking talk to your neighbors all like,
"Well, how's it going, Connie?"
I'm cutting that shit out, man. I'll be like, "Hey, I think I got a couple spots, you can cook them right here," but it's like, man, he's got like 3 grills in his backyard he don't even use, man. Or you got Donald over there. He's always looking out that window, man. He's waiting for you to... He's waiting, man. Anything that happens, man, he's got the scanner app on. Donald's watching you walk that dog. He takes a shit in your yard, dude. Or your dog takes a shit in his yard. And it's like he goes from the window to the door, dude, and he's yelling,
"Clean that shit up."
And it's like, dude, I'm sorry, Donald, I'm picking it up right now.
He says, "Yeah, you better clean that shit up or I'm calling the cops."
Look, my dog's getting pissed just hearing about it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to end this, guys. It was good talking, I don't know if I'm gonna upload this or not, but good times, man. Good times.